Financial planners, are you looking at social media, looking at content that everyone else is producing? Maybe you're scrolling on YouTube, trying to get some inspiration just to find out what is going on right now, why are other people doing so well with their content, and my content sucks. If that's you, then I've got you today because I'm going to be sharing with you the exact content strategy my clients are using, the same content strategies that's getting them to over 15, 30, and even some of our clients $50,000 a month. Now, I am going to be sharing with you also some of the things that you shouldn't be doing on social media in terms of content. But let me go a little bit deeper. Most people think that education content is the way to go for the future. And, I can't remember how many times I've counted people talking about 401ks and all the other type of content that's out there on social that just isn't interacting, engaging, and it's downright boring. And for someone who's not a financial planner but has been working with financial planners, I kind of recognize boring content. So, what I'm about to share with you is going to help you basically create your weekly content plan. You wouldn't need to think about it anymore, and it's going to give you everything you need. Now, a lot of financial planners struggle with creating content. What ends up happening is they'll do everything possible to avoid creating content. And a lot of the clients that I've worked with in the past, they've never done this before. And so it's all brand new. And what's even worse is actually the fear they have when they get on camera, like I am today. And just shooting something really quickly on your phone, absolutely gives them panics. They're sweating and, they have this anxiety about creating content. But I want to give you, firstly, the first part of today, which is around the types of content you need to produce. Now, if you're wondering why you need to create content, I have to say it's a lot easier creating content, running social media ads to get clients rather than going to networking events, cold calling, or relying on others to feed you and your family. So I know that content's worked. It's worked for me because I've done it the hard way. I've moved from Sydney to Barcelona without a networking group to attend because I couldn't speak the language. And so I had to come up with different strategies. And when I started implementing the strategies I'm teaching you today, it's actually helped me grow my business. But more importantly, it's about helping financial planners grow their business. So I want to give everything to you. Now, I made a couple of notes here, so if you see me scrolling away, bear with me. But let's get first. Why content? There's three things that I see for content. One, it's got to attract the right people and repel those that aren't your ideal clients. Those ones that are kind of the tire kickers that's going to take up a lot of your time. They're not the right fit. So you want to create content that attracts the right people. Secondly, what you want to be doing is positioning yourself as the niche, the subject matter expert in solving the problem. And thirdly, it's about building a community that's going to help create cash flow. Let's face it, as much as everyone says they love creating content, the real purpose behind it, apart from educating people, is so you can then generate a community and generate the cash that you need, generate the leads, get monthly revenue coming in and feel confident. And once you start getting a little bit of revenue coming in, you get more confident and you share more content. So I am going to tell you this, that creating content is the future. If you haven't already come under the rock, it is the way of getting clients. It's just knowing how to do it and how to create that pieces of content that you need. So I mentioned that education content is kind of, 2020s. It's kind of old school and everyone's doing it right now. Everyone's talking about 401ks. And let me tell you, as a marketer to financial planners, I am hearing the boring stuff around just education type content. 'Cause everyone thinks that if I provide more education, I'll earn the trust and I have the authority figure in the subject. And so everyone will come to me. But guess what? It does not work. So let me share with you what does work and what my clients are using right now, like I said, to scale over $15,000 a month. So let's get into it. So how do we build a community? The first type of content is what I call credibility content. So think of this like a funnel. At the top of the funnel is credibility. Credibility content is around awareness. So this requires a little bit of education, but you don't want to focus too much on education itself. But what you do want to be talking about are the problems that your prospects and your clients face. And you want to go deep into those problems. Don't just give them very surface level stuff that, hey, here's a 401k, but maybe talk about a little bit about the tangible and the intangible results that you will help a client through with solving that particular problem. That's really key around that. And here's a really good example. So you could say, if you go X problem, or if you got X problem and you don't know how to fix it, here's three ways on how to do it. That'll save you time, it'll save you money. Okay? Something simple as that. That's just credibility content. But I think you should only focus about 25 to 30% of your time on that type of content. So that's the first one. The second piece of content is what I call character content. This is where you have to be you. Being authentic is the secret to growing your business on social media. Surprise, surprise. A lot of people think they can just fake it till they make it, but the more authentic you show up, you actually will start attracting the right type of clients. When you share, your background, your stories, your hobbies, your daily habits, that's what connects people. Your story is so important. And especially if you've got a story that resonates with your audience that you're trying to attract, it's very important that you actually share that story and talk about it and how you were able to overcome the difficulties in the past and where you are today. And that's totally okay because people want to connect with people that they can associate themselves with and feel like they're in the same situation that you used to be in and they want to get to the same position that you're in today. The next piece of content is case study content. Case study content is just proof content, social proof, showing that you're able to solve the problems of your prospects. Now, you're probably going, hey, I cannot talk about the names. Sure. You can still highlight about the problems that, Joe had or something like that. So have a very generic name, or you can just talk about the first name of a particular person and really just talk about the problems and how you're able to solve that problem. And when you can show them that how you're able to solve it, again, they'll realize that you're the right type of person to help them. So here's an example I want to give you. So, hey, this is John. John had X problem. We worked on three big things, one, two, three. And now John is living a life on cruises, right? So there's a very simple example of how you can start your content. The next piece of content is what I call conversion content. And conversion content, really simple, is an invitation. An invitation for people to raise their hands asking for help. And again, another example that I can give you for invitational content is, hey, I got this thing that does XYZ. It helps you solve this problem. Would you like a copy? Just DM me or raise your hand by commenting hand. So there's again a very simple invitational post that you can post to your audience to help create and build that audience. Now, invitational content is so much more important for me. Why? It's because it's really about getting people in messages. So I tell my clients to aim to have 3 to 5 messages a day with prospects. Now that may sound like a lot, but it's just 3 conversations that you got to start every day. And if you do 3 conversations a day, that's 15 for the week, and that's 60 for the month. Now you can keep those conversations going, or you can then book them into asking them to book into a free call or some sort of session with you, whatever your next step is. But you want to qualify those people before they book into those calls. So, which is really important again that you have the right conversations in the DMs. So having the conversion content to invite people to have conversations is what it's all about. It's not about the vanity metrics of likes and going viral and anything like that. That type of content is not worth focusing on. You shouldn't devote your energy towards it or any money or anything like that. Just be yourself and get yourself out there and inviting people. The last piece of content that you want to be producing is what I call contextual content. This is more about what I call philosophical content. This is about you sharing your values, your beliefs, maybe a little bit about your background, giving people an insight into your thinking. So a lot of times you hear me talk about mindset and things that I've been doing, some of the meditation stuff that I do, the journaling that I do every day, the exercises, my morning routines. Also talk about my 5-hour work day because that's kind of how I work myself now and building the life that I want. It's creating all those things and sharing that and giving people the context behind why you've done certain things. So, for example, if you're doing why, then it's a big mistake because it could be costing you time and money. This does not work any longer, and you should be doing in a one, two, three. So there's another way of putting contextual content into something you've done, something that you believe in, and then getting that out to the world. Again, contextual content for me is something that you probably want to spend maybe about 15% of your time on. So that could be like one day of content, if that makes sense. So now that you understand that there's five pieces of content, so let's go through it. One is credibility content, case study content, uh, conversational conversion content, contextual content, and one more which I've missed out is character content. So when you start creating content, you are looking at depositing value into the hearts and minds of people. It is so important that you are truthful, you're honest, and authentic in what you create and share with people. This is content shouldn't be about manipulation at all. It's about educating, adding value. The way you present yourself, the way if you can change, share content that changes people's minds and the way they're thinking on, or hey, this is the old thinking, this is the new way of doing things. It gives them an insight. And you being honest about things. Like for example, today's video, there's no bells and whistles, there's no presentations. It's just me in front of the camera and a mic, just recording, keeping it simple. And when it comes to content, I'm all about being authentic on camera and really sharing my knowledge. Like, it's no point sharing knowledge that I haven't tested or haven't tried before or don't know anything about. The trap is a lot of financial planners get caught in the trap of sharing content on stuff that not 100% know. Yes, they may have gone on to ChatGPT and learned a little bit of information about it, but they don't know the true understanding of certain topics. So, if you want to, overcome the imposter syndrome, that self-doubt that's holding you back from creating content, stick to stuff that you know. And today I've just given you the five types of content pieces you can create. That's not super difficult. Like I said, I've had people that have been in part of my program that have gone through this content part of it, use this exact content strategy that are doing $15,000 to $50,000 and have never been in front of a camera before. So it is possible. And let me tell you something. A lot of the people that have worked with me have been introverts before. They lack the confidence, the self-doubt that they've had. And once they go through and they've got the strategy, this approach of creating content, it just makes life so much easier. Now, if you want to help with any of the stuff on content, I've got a whole content playbook that I give our clients. It's about 45 pages that goes into the exact scripts and hooks and everything you need. But today, I just want to leave this with you. But if you do want more help with creating content, creating clients, and really creating cash flow for your business, then hey, reach out to me. I'm happy to have a quick conversation to see if I can help you out. Thanks so much for joining us. Speak soon. Bye for now.